Okay guys, today we're doing the Elden Ring Fire Knight build. This build uses a new weapon from the DLC called Spear of the Impaler, and as you can see, it is ridiculous. This has a unique skill called Messmer's Assault, and this does wide AoE damage, so it is perfect for controlling crowds. You can also launch your spear by holding RT, and it can also absolutely melt bosses, as you can see. So I will show you my Fire Knight build along with what items to use with it, then I'll show you where you can get everything you need to make this build for yourself. And this is the build. To start off, we have our Spear of the Impaler. This is a great spear that scales primarily with strength, dex, and faith. To get it, you need to beat the boss called Messmer the Impaler, which is in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. According to this weapon's description, this is a great spear with a warped blade in the shape of an undulating flame. Remade by forging arts of the realm of Shadow, this weapon can be thrown by executing a strong attack, dashing strong attack, or mounted strong attack. Charge the attack to produce flame on impact. Now, this is probably my favorite new melee weapon in Elden Ring, and I'm going to be honest, it's made the game a lot easier. So if you are looking to play Elden Ring on easy mode, this one might be the way. Next up, we have our seal, and this is the Fire Knight's seal. It boosts Messmer's flame incantations, and it's another new weapon in the DLC that I'll show you how to get later in the video. Now, we're going to be using our seal primarily to buff our attack with the spear, and we'll do that with Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. Armor-wise, you need the Winged Serpent Helm. This boosts Fire Knight's skills. In other words, the skill called Messmer's Assault will be boosted by this helm. As for the other armor pieces, it's totally up to you. I've gone with Messmer's armor because I like the look and it's new. And also, just wearing something that's red makes you feel more like a dangerous fire lord. For talismans, we have the Shard of Alexander, which greatly boosts the attack power of skills, the Axe Talisman as it enhances charge attacks, Fire Scorpion Charm as it raises fire attacks, and the Flame Drake Talisman 3 as it boosts fire damage negation. Although for this last one, I do tend to swap this over with the Smithing Talisman. This is a new talisman in the DLC, and this enhances weapon throwing attacks, which is perfect for the Spear of the Impaler as your RT attack is a throwing attack. Item wise, here's where it gets interesting. The Physic Flask can really boost your damage here, and the one I'm using has the Flame Shrouded Crack tier for a fire attack boost and a Spiked Crack tier for a charged attack boost. The Oil Pot is a must as well, because when you throw this at an enemy, you soak them in oil and prompt the next fire attack you do to be boosted by 50%. And this all stacks with the talisman and the incantations from your seal. Here's an example of all this in action. So before we take on these trolls, I'll perform the incantations, which are Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. Then I'll swig from the flask and I will launch an oil pot at the enemy. And these oil pots can be crafted in the menu. You don't have to do all this procedure before every battle, but it is just a way to maximize your damage. And then we reel off our attack and melt their health bar. You can take down the biggest bosses in the game with this approach and make it light work. I took down the Dancing Lion, which I previously struggled with, and it was actually pretty easy. If you're not great at the game like me, you can just use the weapon skill from the Spear of the Impaler on bosses over and over again without too much strategy. I mean, you will get hit, but you won't get interrupted, so although your health goes down, their health goes down well. There is strategy to using this weapon. You can probably do this without getting hit at all, but that's not really my style. As for where to find the Spear of the Impaler, you get it by defeating a Messmer, which is here at the Specimen Storehouse. After that, take it to the Finger Lady and exchange the soul for the weapon.
Don't worry, my dear. I'll see it to...
To get your Fire Knight seal, go to the Church District entrance site of Grace, and from here, go to the castle area and lower the water level. You do that by spinning a big cog, then drop down and pick it up from where the water was. Water was. For the smithing talisman, head here. And finally, for the winged serpent helm, defeat the Fire Knight before the Messmer boss fight, who you can find during the approach to that boss fight. The nearest site of grace is the Shadowkeep 6th floor.